Democracy is the rule of the people, real people ruling by the people themselves or their representatives who really represent them, and their rule is for the people. So in countries where real democracy, real people's interests are entertained, ruling is really for the people's interests. Anti-socials are under custody or under punishment. They are strictly under control. So in such countries, they live in peace. In general, they live in peace because anti-socials are under control. But unfortunately, there are countries in the world. For example, North Korea, and not only North Korea, so many countries are there. I don't name every one of them. You know from your experience. There are countries where anti-socials, evil people, criminals are taking power by some means, by force, by crime, or by deceit of some kind. Anti-social, evil, wicked people are coming to power, and in such countries, it may be called a democracy, but actually it is not democracy because it is not ruled for the people, but ruled for the sake of these anti-socials who are in power. It is purely for this minority, these anti-socials who have taken power by some means, by some crooked means. And in such countries, people, general public are living in absolute tyranny, absolute difficulty, absolute poverty. Nothing is in order. Everything is in problem. There is no law and order because these wicked people, criminals are in power. So there is no law and order. There is no peace. There is violence. There is killings. There is all bribery. There is all sorts of evil. So people in this world are living in two situations. Some are like living in heaven on earth, but some are living really in hell, like living in hell on earth. Real heaven and real hell are there, but even in this world, they live in somewhat like living in hell. It is absolutely sad. So any country can progress both in peace and in materially. In order to progress, all anti-socials, all criminals should be kept in custody or they should be punished. And there should be law and order and there should be justice in that country. And people who believes in justice, who practice justice should rule that country. That's the basic fundamental thing for the progress of any country. A country can be called democratic only when the people are represented. When the real people's interests are represented, when the real people or their representatives are in power. A country cannot be democratic when some crooked evil people, wicked people take power by some evil means, by force or by some trickery. They take power and their rule is not for the people but for themselves. Yes, there may be elections, but these elections are not in proper way, or the system itself is wrong. So that general people's interests are never taken into consideration. Only some evil, wicked, dirtiest people coming to power by some crooked means, and they rule for themselves, not for the people. So a democracy is only when the true people's interests are maintained, kept. Democracy coming into power only when rulers represent the real people, and rulers are sacrificial leaders who rule for the poor people, general public, and not for the sake of themselves.